The Nintendo Switch 2 is an upcoming hybrid video game console developed by Nintendo. The successor to the Nintendo Switch, it was announced on January 16, 2025, and is set to be released later the same year. History. Nintendo released the original Nintendo Switch in March 2017, which was developed in the wake of the commercial failure of the Wii U. The Switch was promoted as a hybrid console with handheld, tabletop, and docked configurations, with Joy-Con controllers that could be separated from the main unit for these configurations. Compared to the other consoles on the market at the time, including the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, the Switch used less powerful computational hardware to keep the unit's price low, but sufficient to power the type of games Nintendo typically publishes, part of the company's long-term blue ocean strategy to differentiate themselves from the other console manufacturers. The Nintendo Switch became Nintendo's best-selling home console, and by 2023, the third best-selling gaming console overall, following the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo DS. At the time of the Switch 2's announcement in January 2025, the Nintendo Switch had sold over 146 million units worldwide. Prior to Nintendo's official announcement, industry rumors began as early as 2019 of a high-end model of the Switch, often nicknamed the Nintendo Switch Pro, in the media, though many of these were later confirmed to be incorporated into the OLED Switch model released in 2021. Nintendo affirmed it was working on its next gaming system to its investors in October 2020. Digital Foundry said that Nintendo may have been working on a Pro model for the Switch, but by 2022, the company appeared to have fully transitioned all development work towards the Nintendo Switch successor console. In a June 2023 shareholder question and answer session, Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa stated the company sought to make the transition between the Nintendo Switch and its successor smooth for consumers, and was planning to retain the console's Nintendo account system. Backwards compatibility was a key part of the design of the Nintendo Switch 2, the company saying as part of the console's announcement, Nintendo Switch is played by many consumers, and we decided that the best direction to take would be for consumers to be able to play their already purchased Nintendo Switch software on the successor to Nintendo Switch. Quote, Video Games Chronicle reported in July 2023 that Nintendo had sent out software development kits for its next console to development partners and that Nintendo wanted to avoid the shortages that the ninth-generation consoles, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, had suffered at launch. Nintendo showcased the console in a private presentation during Gamescom in August. Among the tech demos were a version of the Switch game The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild 2017 running at a higher frame rate and resolution, and the Unreal Engine 5 demo The Matrix Awakens 2021. On May 7, 2024, Furukawa officially acknowledged the development of the Switch's successor, stating that more information would be revealed later that fiscal year. Rumors of a new console persisted through 2024, and at the 2025 Consumer Electronics Show in early January, several third-party accessory vendors highlighted gear slated for the successor, leading Nintendo to issue a statement that none of the mock-ups used at the show were official. On January 16, 2025, the Nintendo Switch 2 was revealed via Nintendo's official channels, introducing its new design and magnetic Joy-Con controllers, as well as brief footage of a Mario Kart game. A Nintendo Direct centered around the console is scheduled for April 2, 2025. Nintendo will host a series of worldwide events from April through June 2025 to allow players to try out the console before release. Furukawa stated that the company was making preparations for the Switch 2's release to prevent excessive sales to resellers and scalpers, which had been an issue with previous Nintendo hardware releases. The console was initially expected to launch in late 2024. However, in February, Bloomberg News reported that Nintendo had informed publishers it was delaying the release into early 2025. The Nikkei, corroborating Bloomberg, reported the delay was to prevent shortages and scalping. Nintendo's shares fell by nearly 6% following the reported delay. In August 2024, Games Industry Biz and Eurogamer reported that the console would not launch before April 2025. Game publisher and accessory maker Naken anticipated that the console would be released within the first half of Nintendo's fiscal year beginning in April, and ending September 30, 2025. Bloomberg analysts predicted that the Switch 2 would launch at a starting price of $400 or higher, pending the impact of the imposed tariffs on American goods that took effect in February 2025, yet affirmed that the console was projected to have a strong launch aided by exclusive software and backwards compatibility with the Switch library. As part of the promotion for the Switch 2, Nintendo partnered with Major League Baseball and the Seattle Mariners to have the Nintendo and Switch 2 logos be featured on the Mariners team jerseys for the 2025 season. Hardware. Like its predecessor, the Nintendo Switch 2 is a hybrid console, which can be used as both a handheld console, or placed into a dock connected to a television or monitor to be played like a home console. The unit maintains a similar form factor as the Nintendo Switch, and consists of the main body that includes the screen and primary hardware, and two Joy-Con devices that can be attached to the main unit's sides in handheld mode, or can communicate wirelessly to the main unit when docked. Ars Technica estimated that the Nintendo Switch 2 has a 7.9 inches 20 centimeters screen, about 33% larger than the original Switch. VGC's July 2023 report said the console would initially ship with an LCD screen, rather than an OLED screen, to reduce costs. Sharp Corporation stated it had been providing Nintendo LCDs for the console since mid-2023, and the technology analysis firm Omdia stated these were likely 8-inch screens. The console's alleged system on a chip, the NVIDIA Tegra T239 codenamed Drake, was leaked in the 2022 NVIDIA ransomware attack by Lapsus $. It features an octa-core ARM Cortex-A78C CPU, a 12 Ampere GPU, and a 128-bit LPDDR5 memory interface. Internal Activision emails from FTCV. Microsoft indicated that in terms of power, the console would be similar to 8th-generation consoles like the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, though it reportedly supports NVIDIA's deep learning supersampling DLSS technology and ray tracing to allow for visuals comparable to more recent 9th-generation consoles. Patents published in March 2025 support the DLSS reports. On September 18, 2024, supposed images of the system leaked on Reddit, with details that matched previous reports. In October 2024, Pokémon series developer Game Freak became the target of a significant data breach which exposed various development materials associated with the franchise. Among them included references to the 10th generation titles in the franchise, and that they were targeting a release on the Nintendo Switch's successor, codenamed internally as Ounce. On January 1, 2025, alleged images of the system's motherboard appeared. A user on Famiboards then calculated, based on the physical dimensions, that the system on a chip was likely produced using a 5nm process node. However, Richard Ledbetter of Digital Foundry concluded that, rather than porting the Ampere-based architecture to a smaller process node, it is more likely that the existing low-cost Samsung 8nm process node is being used. While such a process poses difficulties for performance and battery life, Ledbetter believes these can be relieved due to the nature of fixed hardware platforms, which allow for custom optimizations to be implemented. Along with the existing ports from the Nintendo Switch's design, which includes a USB-C port on the bottom which also serves as its power source and connector within a dock, a headphone jack, and a cartridge slot, the Nintendo Switch 2 includes a second USB-C port on the top of the unit. Patents filed in February 2025 suggest the Switch 2 can be flipped 180 degrees, allowing for a change in the position of the headphone jack and the USB-C ports. Additional FCC filings in March 2025 allude to NFC and Wi-Fi 6 functionality in the console. The new Joy-Con, besides being larger to match the larger console, attached to the console by snapping to the sides rather than using a rail system from the original Nintendo Switch system, and are removed using a small button on the Joy-Con that causes a cylinder in the Joy-Con to extend and push off from the main unit. Industry rumors suggest the Joy-Con attachment to the main body is through magnetic attachment rather than a physical connector, which had been desired in the original Switch design. Reports state that the new Joy-Con will utilize Hall effect sensors for the joysticks rather than normal analog joysticks, which would address the drift issues that the original models had due to dust collecting within the analog system. Journalists also noted the presence of an optical sensor on the Joy-Con, along with a redesigned wrist strap attachment that included a front button and pads, which the Joy-Con can slot into, believing this to indicate the Joy-Con could be used like a computer mouse. The possible magnetic connections and mouse functionality were supported by multiple patents awarded to Nintendo in February 2025 for such functionalities in a game controller. Software. Distribution. See also. Nintendo Game Card. As with its predecessor, games for Nintendo Switch 2 can be obtained in physical and digital formats, with physically distributed games being stored on proprietary game cards that share a similar form factor with those used on Nintendo Switch. Original Nintendo Switch game cards are also supported for backwards compatibility. In February 2025, Nintendo announced the discontinuation of the My Nintendo Gold Points Rewards program on March 24, 2025, which had previously enabled users to accumulate the currency through Nintendo Switch game purchases, and redeem them on digital titles through the Nintendo eShop. Nintendo also confirmed that Nintendo Switch game vouchers were unable to be redeemed on games exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2. Online services. See also Nintendo Switch Online. Nintendo has confirmed that the Nintendo Switch Online service would be retained on the Switch 2. Library. Pokémon series developer Game Freak was targeted in a data breach by an unspecified third-party ransomware group in October 2024. Among the publicly available materials, project plans for the 10th generation Pokémon games revealed that they were being developed for a simultaneous launch on both Nintendo Switch 2 and the original Nintendo Switch. The console's reveal trailer in January 2025 was accompanied by early footage of an as-yet upcoming Mario Kart game. Information reported by IGN suggests that the games Metroid Prime 4, Beyond, Pokémon Legends, ZA, Pokémon Champions and Professor Layton and the New World of Steam will have upgraded Nintendo Switch 2 versions despite initially being announced for the Nintendo Switch. Third-party support. A survey conducted at the 2024 Game Developers Conference in January 2024 inquired 3,000 independent and AAA developers on game creation and which platforms they were engaging, of which 250 individuals identified themselves as already producing games slated for Nintendo Switch 2, while a further 32% of those surveyed expressed interest in developing for the console. In May 2024, Nintendo announced their intentions to acquire Miami-based developer Shiver Entertainment from their prior parent company Embracer Group, with the company detailing in a statement that the merger enabled them to procure specialized in-house resources for the development and porting of software, while allowing the studio to continue their commitments to Nintendo Switch and other platforms. Bloomberg News later reported that the acquisition was for bolstering Nintendo's efforts in securing games from third-party developers on Nintendo Switch 2, with Shiver assisting external developers in the optimization of such titles from competing platforms. In September 2024, developer Pathia Games announced My Time at Eversheen, the spiritual successor to My Time at Porsche 2019, and My Time at Sandrock 2023. In October 2024, Playtonic Games announced their upcoming remaster Yooka-Replay would be released on Nintendo platforms. In March 2025, developer Future Lab announced Power Wash Simulator 2, initially confirming a launch on Switch 2 alongside other platforms to news outlets, before partially retracting their statements. Microsoft Gaming's Phil Spencer said that they will support the Switch 2 with ports of their Xbox games, as part of their multi-platform distribution strategy. Such games reportedly include ports of Halo, the Master Chief Collection and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Microsoft had previously signed an agreement with Nintendo to bring future entries in the Call of Duty franchise to their platforms as part of their acquisition bid for Activision Blizzard, which became legally binding in February 2023. Publisher Ubisoft commented that they were in love with the console following its reveal, and are rumored to be bringing Assassin's Creed Mirage and Assassin's Creed Shadows to the system during its launch window. Weikong Wu, producer of Marvel Rivals, expressed interest in bringing the game to the Switch 2, having stated that the team has already contacted Nintendo and possessed dev kits, however has stated that it will only come to the Switch 2 if the game's performance is satisfactory. Other third-party titles such as Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater are also rumored for release on Nintendo Switch 2. Backward compatibility. See also List of Nintendo Switch games. The Switch 2 will be backward compatible with most Switch games, both physically and digitally, though Nintendo said that some may not be fully compatible or supported. Rumors in February 2024 indicated that developers would be able to update games to take advantage of the new hardware. Existing Joy-Con and Nintendo Switch Pro controllers are expected to be forward compatible as well. Notes. According to Nintendo, certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported or fully compatible. Japanese. Nintendo Suchi 2, Hepburn, Nintendo Suchi Su. Nintendo branded the console in Japan in its English name.